Hello YouTube, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Pens and Paint. Thank you for hitting the play button on my channel and checking me out. Today I want to talk about, I just got back from the DC SuperPesn Show, as you probably saw in the thumbnail. I wanted to first start off the video with what I carried with me for this year's 2024 DC Super Show, Fountain Pen Super Show. It is a topo filled bag. I was inspired by Aziza, who I actually got to see this year at the DC show. There's a little bit of a conflict with the DC SuperPesn Show with the Yoseka Stationery Fest up in Brooklyn. I had to pick one or the other, and given the fact that this one was much closer to home, quite frankly, I picked this one because I've got a pending trip and I'm trying to be really good from a financial budget perspective. So I went to the DC show and I've been waiting all year to, if I'm going to make a splurge, albeit in a budget-friendly kind of a way, it was going to be this show. And I didn't find out about Stationery Fest until February, March of this year when Yoseka announced it. I could have probably gone up to upstate New York, but I shouldn't say upstate, New York City, Bronx Borough. Probably could have made it to that one, but it really wasn't anything that was in my forethought. So last year's pen show was so hyperly successful, and I'll leave a link up above. I ended up winning a Pilot Ishmi fountain pen, which retails for like $800, and I signed up for the raffle for this year, and it was another Ishmi, and I just decided not to stick around for that because I didn't want to get greedy, and plus I had already won last year, so I felt like, you know, chances of me winning 2 years back to back was slim to none. Don't press my luck. But I wanted to show you this topo bag really quick. This was a great carry. It fit everything that I needed to have in it. Some of the items I've already taken out, but I'll explain to you what I carried in it. So in this front pocket, it's a little bit of a topo advertising. I not paid. None of this is sponsored. In the front pocket, I put my keys in here, corralled them by this little clip here. I had my AirPod Pros in this pocket, and that was pretty much it. Oh, I had a Tide like stick, just in case if I decided to eat something, if something spilled on my clothes, I had something to clean it up with. And then the main compartment, oh, and then on the bottom here, under this latch point, we've been getting hit with late afternoon thunder showers, so I had an umbrella laying underneath the bottom. Here's what I had on the bottom. And then in the main compartment, and some of this stuff is missing, but I have a little like toiletry kind of kit. I should have probably put it into the video. I'll take a photo of it and insert it in here so you can see it, but it's a little pouch. It has like fingernail clippers, lip balm, teeth cleaners, just in case, like I said, if I decided to eat and something got stuck in my teeth. I hate that. I had that in there, and then I had like, sometimes when you go into bathrooms, the soap is gone, and so I have like these little film strips of soap so that I can still wash my hands. That's all that was in there, and some Benadryl, just in case my allergies were flaring up. So I had that. The show was packed. If you look at any of my past videos, and again, I can link it up here in the card, like one of the past, the layout was pretty much the same, except the downstairs area in DC, they used it all for seminars this year, and the ink swatching was all downstairs. So anybody who was having any workshops, that was all downstairs this year. There was no tables with pens like there were last year. They still had, one of the semi-small ballrooms had pens still in it. Everything this year was in rooms 1, which was the master ballroom, and then the 2 side ones where you first walk in and register, where you get your Galen bag, and there's a freebie in the Galen bag. They gave out like individual sleeves for single pens. And then room number 2 had other pen manufacturers, some inks shown design. I did not see them this year, but I'm sure they were probably over in room 2. Galen leather, like I said, was in room 1, and then the main ballroom just had everybody else. I mean, it was, and then the side hallways. It's just, the DC pen show is just massively huge. So just Like I said, I'll put a link up here in the corner of one of my previous years. I've done it every year. I think the first year I went was probably, or the second year I went was probably the one that I filmed the most, so I'll put that up there. So in this bag, because I took Metro from Maryland into Northern Virginia, I took with me my iPad mini for entertainment, plus the Olympics. The Olympics are going on this year, so I wanted to be able to catch any of the action while I was on the train. So this is just my iPad mini. So I had that for later in the day, riding the Metro. And then I had my currently inked, what I keep in this Hobonichi Weeks cover, just so I had a reference to all the inks that I've been using so far in 2024. I keep all of my inks in here. Let me just zoom in here. So I've got every month that I remember to do it. I think I've got most of the months in here. I might have missed one, but I think I've got most of them in here up until July. So I've got that in here, just in case I was trying to still find one of the inks. Dromgooles and Vanness pens were both in play at the show. So the great thing was Vanness has the largest ink supply, I think. They were saying in the world right now. I think they have more inks than anybody. So I got to talk to the woman who owns Vanness shop. They do an amazing job for such a small group. Back here I kept, in this little pocket, I kept my wallet, and I've got a couple of business cards over here. But I kept my wallet, and I kept my AirPod Pros if I needed to slip them in here. So that was in that little wallet. And then in here I also have another Hobonichi Inks Weeks like jot notebook. I used this one to like basically swatch some of the inks from the ink sample stations that they had. They had probably 8 different tables of inks that you could swatch. I did a lot of Robert Oster. I'm proud to say that the Muddy Water series is back on my radar for ink samples only, but I've got ink samples for that are in here. I also had with me, and I don't have one of the pens with me, and I'll tell you what happened. This year, as I said previously, probably a few videos ago, that this year I really have curtailed buying fountain pens because I really want to appreciate the ones that I have. I have so many. I have almost too many, and I bought this sleeve a long time ago. I almost have too many, and my goal is to probably fine-tune some of the pens that I had that didn't really work all that great when I bought them. So one of the pens that I had, which I don't have, was the Leonardo, the matte finished one, and I'm going to just pull this one out. That pen ended up being a nightmare for me, and the housing of that pen, I thought it was just the nib, and it wasn't just the nib. So it turns out I thought I just needed to get my nib grind, and then that would fix the issue. So I got this Leonardo nib custom ground, but the housing itself and how it screws into the pen body was still, I'm going to do it this way because I've got ink on my hands. I got this one custom ground as an oblique, extra fine. It writes beautifully now, but unfortunately this housing still did not fit into that pen. So I had to go over and talk to Leonardo, and it turns out I had to turn my pen in. They're going to have to fix my pen in-house in Italy. They're out of Naples. I wish I could pick it up while I'm in Naples this year, but they're telling me now it's going to be like 6 months before I get my pen back, and I'm kind of bummed because it's already been over 6 months that I have not been able to write with this pen because of that housing issue. But I do have a custom nib once it gets in here, and I've got my card with my order number to kind of keep track of it. So they took my pen from me. So that was one of the pens that I had housed in this wonderful Rickshaw Bagworks item. I also brought with me my English automatic pen for swatches that I put into that Hobonichi book and cards. I used that on this to like swatch some inks. I also had in here with me, was mindful enough. Oops, that's one of the pens that I took with me. Sorry. I have this Hiroko from Sailor. I bought this pen, and I use this to swatch with. If you go to a pen show, I highly recommend that you bring your own swatching pens. It really does make a big difference, because what they have out on the tables is really quite crappy. Now, I will say with this pen, you do have to, I've got the one with the Fude nib. Let's see if I can get that into focus. Sorry, I got ink on my hand. The one with the Fude nib, and this worked really well. However, you know, ink or water will get into it as you're like rinsing the pen out. So you also have to sometimes pull this out, tap this down on a napkin or a towel. I would also suggest that you bring your own like cloth with you, because sometimes the supplies are really quite limited. You might find muddy or dirty water sitting out on the ink swatching table. So you've got to kind of get up, get a clean glass. But of course, as you know, cleaning out your own fountain pens, if you're familiar with this process, the water gets dirty really quite quickly. So you might find yourself getting up and down, up and down. Hopefully it's not so crazy busy that you can like leave your stuff and kind of like walk over and just get a clean glass of water and come back. And they just use plastic glasses for that. It's a good time also to just meet fellow pen enthusiasts that are also swatching, who absolutely love swatching ink as well. Hold on just a second. Okay, thank you. I had to get the light on because it's getting ready to thunderstorm, and I made it home just in time before the severe thunderstorm warning just went off. So hopefully I can get this wrapped up fairly soon. But so additionally, what I had in here is I brought my Porceo, which is my everyday EDC throw in the bag kind of carry. I brought that just in case I needed that for anything as well. And then the two remaining fountain pens that I got fine-tuned, I will go ahead and pull out the art pen that came out from Kaweco last year. If you watched, and I can link it again in the card up above, when I got this pen, I was really disappointed with the nib. Kawecos are notoriously inconsistent, and this one proved for the price point, because this was kind of a new design for them. It's not your straight solid color fountain pen. It already contained a clip, which was the difference with the art, and then it had this kind of coloring to it. This pen was pretty pricey for a Kaweco. It was almost like the price for an AL. I do find that Kaweco is now starting to increase the price point, I feel like, on their pens, so you've got to like really make sure it's worth it. But the nib was horrible, and so I went to All in the Nib, Damon, to get my nib ground and tuned in. And so I now have this one, which was a medium. This has now been grounded to a oblique medium nib. Now, because I did do that, there is some, you know, I've got to hold the pen at a certain angle, but I'm absolutely thrilled with how this writes. And I don't know if I've got leftover remnants, so let me just zoom in here. This is my little test page. So, okay, he cleaned the nib out. And I'm going to remove, I did remove the nib off of that other one, so let me just put the water to the side so I don't knock that over. Let me just grab something else. But actually, I'll get back to this one and I'll show you how it writes now. But so much more smoother that he worked on this and kind of got this grounded down for me. I'm really excited about how that one works. So this one has been smooth, tuned, and custom grounded for me. And then this was the other disappointing one that I got last year, that once I got it home, I was really disappointed with how it wrote. And this is the one that I got from, this is a Jonathan Brooks body with Galen leather collab. I actually had to sit here and say, needs work, needs to be tuned. This also now has been tuned to a, extra fine Yovo nib oblique as well. So I have two oblique nibs. I don't know if this one's gotten it complete. Oh, this one is. Okay, so this one is, this is the Jonathan Brooks. This one has not been cleaned out as well. And it is an oblique nib, extra fine. And this was the Yovo number 6. And I just love how it writes. It's very juicy. He made it a little bit wetter than it normally would be. I'm really glad that I still have some ink left in this one, but I can now finally use this pen and know that it's going to write and write well. So I'm very, very excited about this pen. I'm going to go ahead and take this little piece of tape off of it since I've gotten it fixed. And that's the third pen that I got fixed from the pen show. So both of those things have happened for me. Let me just change the coloring on that. So that's what this pen looks like. It's really, really pretty, but I haven't been able to use it for a year. So you can understand my disappointment by the Leonardo, because it's almost as long, and it's going to be 6 more months potentially before I actually get that one back as well. So those were the custom grit smoothing, tuning, grinds that I got done at the DC Pen Show. Hopefully I will be able to do what I need to do on that Leonardo. They will actually be able to send that back. Maybe I'll get it before the end of the year. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, because like I said, I have bought a brand new pen and I haven't been able to write with that because it was leaking all over the place. I was really excited about that pen, and then it was just wah, 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 wah. Okay, so moving onward, those are those pens, and that's what I took in my bag. Let's get into what I procured during this 2024 DC Pen Show season. So, like I said, I'm trying to be very aware of budget-wise, you know, spending, buying new fountain pens, and so on and so forth. I did know that there was a really big potential for me to, I'm going to just lift this up so I can get this bag out of the way, want to spend some money, but I just didn't want to spend a lot, knowing that I have my trip to Pending coming up. So one of the things that you always get at any of the fountain pen shows across the country is you get the Pen World magazine. So I've got that. I'm looking forward to going through this. I don't know what it's going to be, what's in here, but I'm looking forward to going through that. I always like looking at that. And then I got in this as a freebie from Galen Leather, gave everybody another freebie single leather pen sleeve, which I absolutely really do appreciate these sleeves that they give us out every year. Let's see what else. One of the first things that I did buy, I did not buy a lot of things, I will say that. So let me just pull out the things that I did get so I can get the bag off the table. I bought ink. I know I said I know I keep saying I'm not going to buy ink, but you know, it's hard to resist not buying any ink, and I try to be very good about not buying any ink. But it's not like Vanness came with 1,000, or I should say tens of thousands of ink samples. They did not. I did finally see a pen from Franklin Christoph that I do want to get, which is the Model 19, so I'm going to be looking at that maybe for next year. I've got some stickers. One's from they're both from Pilot, so I got a couple of stickers from Pilot. Go zoom back in, which I'm going to be putting in my journal. So I got a couple of stickers from Pilot. I also went to Adderallium's ink table. They have some beautiful inks, but other than the flying squid ink, I just did not see anything that was really leaping out from their inks. I got a Leonardo Aficionado button as well, and this one was from Kalinia Pen Company out of Hawaii. I really like I like the Kono Snow fountain pen. It's out of budget for me, but it would be one that I would be willing to consider in 2025. I just cannot do anything in 2024. Oh, there goes the ink. I mean, there goes the rain. And then Sailor, I did buy a fountain pen from Sailor. I did not buy your traditional higher end, higher price point fountain pen by Sailor, but I did buy the Tuzu from Sailor. And this is the one that retails right around 45 USD. That's one of the, this is what's inside the box. Came like this. Zoom back out a little bit. Came like this in the box. This is another insert for it, I think, as a platform. And it has 2 Sailor ink cartridges in it. The instructions. This is the fountain pen that you can adjust the grip in it and to your handwriting. Okay, if you hear thunder, I apologize about that. They gave us as a thank you a Sailor little nib, which I thought was really, really cute. I was hoping that they were going to give one of these, otherwise I was willing to buy it. And then this is the Tuzu, and I bought, for my first ever, I bought a Sailor broad nib for this pen. And I'll use one of the inks that I purchased at the show to write with this, but I bought it in a broad just because I liked how it wrote. But this is the pen that you can, and I've got, see, that's my first broad from Sailor. I will go ahead and snip the end and get into that. They were really uber friendly. Sailor is coming out this fall for their products. They're coming up with a pen guild. So they said look forward towards this in the fall, and then I've got a thing so I can sign up for it early so that I'm part of the pen guild. So that I'm really, really looking forward to that as well. And this is just a steel nib. I think this is mostly plastic pen, but it writes quite well, like everything with Sailor. So there's that. But I got the blue. They had this in blue. They had a like this green, like this blue-green minty color. They had one like that, and then I think they had black, and then they had another one that was more like, almost like a pea green, I think. So I got this one. It's a snap cap, and I know somebody else has probably reviewed this, but what you do is you undo this, and then this part in silver, you unscrew that to loosen it. And then you get to, hold on just a second. This part right here is what you get to rotate. So if you don't hold your hand in this format, but you hold it more like this or some variation, or you grab it differently where your finger and your thumb don't rest, you can rotate that so that you can put the pen at the angle that you want it to be. And that's the flexibility of that nib unit. So you're just moving this around so that your hands can kind of grip it in a more natural format naturally, because there's like indentations or grip like the Couchant has. So that's how that works. Looking forward to experimenting with this pen as well. And like I said, this was, and as you can see with the nib unit, let me see if I can get this right in the camera. It has a slightly upturned, oh, it's starting to, ooh, I got home just in time. It has a slightly upturned nature to it. Let me see if I can do this with, it's slightly upturned. So you can just basically rotate it so that the nib unit is facing the way that you want it to with your grip, your natural grip. So that's that's that pen, and that one retailed again for 45 USD, and as you can tell, I really broke the bank with that pen. But that is the only fountain pen that I bought this year, on top of getting my grinds done. My grinds were done by Damien Bloomer. Awesome guy. We have a little bit of overlap in our careers, a little bit. He's in IT like I am. I will let you guys see this up close. He is fully booked until the end of this year, but he said he's going to take a break, and then he'll probably reopen his shop in 2025. But he did a really good job with my nibs, and I got to see him at 10:30, so I was his second customer, so it was great because I was in and I was out fairly quickly. Okay, so that was that. So then I went to Vanness pens, and I bought this ink from them, which is the Dominat Industries Writers or the Painter series, and I bought the Soleil Couchant Etretat ink, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. And I know I didn't need to buy any more ink, and I said I wasn't going to buy any more ink, but I love Dominat Industries, the little bottles. I just think they're really, really adorable, and so I'm going to swatch this out so that you guys can see what it looks like. They all come with this nice little custom bag and the wonderful tear-shaped bottle. And as you can tell, this is just a very gorgeous dark bluish kind of gray ink. It's right up my alley. I'm looking forward to using this in the winter time. I'm going to go ahead and slide my hand around here, and we're going to dip this ink so that you guys can see it. But I just found it to be really quite beautiful. We were trying to figure it out. Vanness was apologizing because they hadn't had a chance. They had just gotten these inks in on their website, and they had not had a chance to swatch them and put them into their swatch book for the show. And I was like, you know, that's okay. We can find it online. So this is Dominat Industries. And this is what the color looks like. And I'm just swatching this in a Field Notes. I'll zoom in so that you guys can really see that. A Field Notes book. And I'm going to dip this one more time and put the lid back on so that I don't knock it over. And I'm going to grab this because it's all French. And this is Soleil. And that's an E-I-L. Couchant. Etretat. So that is what the ink sample looks like. Beautiful kind of bluish gray ink, which is, like I said, it's right up my alley. I absolutely love that kind of coloring. It's just really moody. It's perfect for a day like this where you get, you know, summer showers and overcast kind of blue-gray skies. So there's that ink. And that, oh, interesting. I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side like so, because the case with the bottle is not wanting to fit that way. I bought that one, and that was all I bought from, oh, and I bought these stickers from them as well. I just thought these were really, really cute. Sticky 2 stickers with mail and lettering and all that good stuff. So I bought that as well. Those are the 2 items that I bought from Vanness pens. And then the last 3 items, I bought another A6 refill Midori from Dromgooles out of Houston. So you know I use these ones all the time. So there's no new news there. And then I bought 2 Colorverse, one Colorverse ink and 1 Weringeul. So August ink, if you were following what I have currently inked in the month of August, I used Weringeul's Spattered Star Spangled ink for the month of August as my yellow. I absolutely love this color. And so this color right here is this bottle right here. So I've got another new kind of yellow kind of color, yellow orange color. I bought that one, really like that. I'm not going to re-swatch that one because I already have it swatched. And then the new ink bottle that I don't have, because I just bought that one in a sample, but I decided I wanted to get the bottle, is this Colorverse Blue Dragon with Silver Shimmer. And for that one, I'm going to use as a tester, if I can get this out. I love how Colorverse does their bottles out of Korea. Like so. Look at that little bottle, it's so cute. Oh my gosh, that's just adorable. It's like a teardrop, right? And you've got silver shimmer, which I thought was good. They also have this in gold shimmer and they have it in a standard. The standard kind of reminds me of another ink that I already had. So I decided not to get the standard. I just felt like I already had that and a big bottle of ink that I'm trying to still work my way through. But let's use this in the Sailor so that you guys can kind of see what the Sailor broad knit looks like and this new grip. The one thing about Colorverse I will say is they have really narrow openings for their bottles, which is sometimes problematic, but for this case I think it'll work out just fine. And this is kind of a chameleon ink for me. So it's another blue. And this is Colorverse (2024) Blue Dragon. And I'm writing this with the Sailor. Tuzu and a bold. My first Sailor in a bold nib. So that is what that color looks like, but I just think the color is absolutely gorgeous. I know some people find blue inks really boring, but I really actually like this blue inks. I like blue inks that have a little bit of movement, and I think once this dries you'll get to see the movement that this one has. So there's this one again. That's what that looks like. And hopefully you'll get to see this. I'm writing this on probably non-fountain pen friendly paper because I'm using a Field Notes book. But that is the color right there. Hey YouTube, it's Lisa in post-edit mode. I just noticed that I forgot to show you what the grind looks like on this new, let's see here, the new nib that I got grounded from Damien of All in the Nib from the DC SuperPesn Show. And so I'm going to just dip this into some platinum carbon black ink and give you the writing sample of what this now oblique nib looks like from him. Hopefully I don't overly ink this, but I just remembered that I did not get a chance to show you what it looks like. So this is the platinum carbon black. This is the Kaweco. Oops, it's a little off here. Kaweco Art pen, and this one has in it an oblique, and it writes so much better. I mean, it's a little skippy because you have to remember with an oblique nib, Damon did tell me that I have to be careful of the angle of the pen. I did get a pen assessment from him while I was getting my ground done, which is the first time I've ever had like a handwriting analysis. Pilot had one, but they were completely booked on the Saturday of the DC SuperPesn Show. So this is how that's now going on the downs and the sides and the ups. And I'm going to just do the quick brown fox really quick here. But it's really nice to have a Kaweco nib that is a ground, a custom ground, and just writes better, and it's actually a nice functionable nib right now. So that's it. I just wanted to get back to you guys on that because I said I was going to. That's all I've got, and right now back to the clip. Take care. And then lastly, and not least, Galen Leather. So Galen Leather was again the sponsor of all these pin shows and getting bags out for all the participants that show up, which I think is just wonderful. They're getting bigger and bigger every year. I'm always amazed at how the staffing has changed from 4 or 5 years ago to where it is now with their story getting out there. And I'm starting to see the silver shimmer in this ink. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this by the time I'm doing this. In the editing, I'll try to show it, but it's absolutely, that silver is really, really pretty. The last thing that I was able to get from Galen Leather, and I have been trying to get this from their website, and I lose sight of it because I'm just really, really busy trying not to like acquire a lot of stationery or just do it like once a year like this where it's a really big haul, is the Traveler's Notebook from Sailor. I've been trying to get my hands on it, and every time they gave me a little cloth bag here, a little canvas cloth bag, and they gave me some stickers. I was thinking about buying a pen case. Wow, they gave me a lot of stickers. Oh, look at these stickers. So I've got this one, got 2 of those. They loaded me up. They absolutely loaded me up. He goes, let me throw some stickers in. Like I didn't even think he had any. Look at that one. Very retro. Loving that. And then I've got 2 of these. Lemons. When life gives you lemons, trade them for fountain pens. I love that. So I've got stickers from Galen, well represented there. And the last thing I bought was the everyday notebook because I want to take a traveler size notebook with me on my travels in September, October. And I think this is going to be the book that I'm going to use versus the regular traveler's notebook, even though I've got some of those already set aside for this year already. I just really want to have one dedicated book because I'm going to try to sketch in the book as well on the trip if I can. Again, you have this really nice flap action happening that's magnetic with Galen's boxes. And then this is what the notebook looks like. And it's such a good size notebook. You get 3 of them in the case, which I think is a killer deal. I think this ran me $28 USD, but like I said, you get 3 of these. And then you always get with Galen Leather, you get the pencil boards and you get a piece of suede cloth as your blotting sheet. And I'm like, who does that, you know? So you get your line paper for your guides, and they change depending on what size you want to like the width of that, different widths. And this time it looks like they gave me, oh, I love it. They gave me 2 of these. So if you damage one, you've got a spare backup. Is this another one? Oh, yeah. Wait, hold on a second. Did they give me 3? They gave me 3. I love it. Okay, so you've got 10 millimeter. Yeah, they gave me 3 10 millimeter sheets. This is a really good deal. And they gave me 3 on the other side on the flip 7 millimeter sheets. And then on top of all of that, you get a 10 millimeter graph sheet of paper, graph guide, and a 5 millimeter graph guide. And I think there's going to probably be, again, 3 of those. So really good deal because if you're smart, you can laminate them so they don't really go and get bad, which is what I think I'm going to do with like one of these, is I'm going to just laminate one of each of these sheets. And then I've got something that also will have a little bit of durability to it. And then you've got this piece of leather. And this is more suede on this side. Oh, this one's got a, I'm gonna have to ask them if they can send me another piece because this one's got a rip in it. But you've got a blotting sheet, which I can just use blotting paper for, which is probably what I'll do. But otherwise, it's just cream colored paper, which is absolutely fantastic. This is Tomoe River. I think this is going to be, hold on just a second, where's my, let me just check this really quick. I think this is old Tomoe River. This might be the new Sanson Tomoe River paper, but nonetheless, what a great deal. I mean, just the overall really good value, good bang for the buck. And that was the last purchase that I made for this year's fountain pen show. So that's it for me for today. Let me know what you bought this year. Did you get to make it to a pen show? Did you miss all the pen shows? Was there anything that sparked your interest or curiosity of the things that I received? If you want any more feedback on all the items that I got, let me know. But I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me to the very end and seeing all the little goods that I got for this year's fountain pen show. Spent substantially less money than I've done previously, other than getting my custom grimes done. These ran me, the 3 pins that I got done in a half an hour ran me about $120. So all in, I'm probably about $200, but last year I spent way more than that. So did well, thumbs up, I stayed within my budget. I think I did a pretty good job. So I look forward to letting you know how all of these things are working out in the future. But until next time, stay safe and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.